Yo, what's going on, everyone? This is Lawrence Yo from More to That, and welcome. Welcome to another video reflection. I am going to get in the habit of doing more of these. I just need to get situated with a good little setup here. I think we got a good one going on, so you can see more of these going forward. Today, I wanted to talk about a big post that I just put up called The Arc of the Practical Creator. Now, if you haven't read it, pause this video, close out, or whatever. Actually, before you close out, go to the link in the description where I link out to that piece. Read that piece, because if you don't, none of this will make sense. And I think it's well worth your time, especially if you are a creator. Really, I wrote this for you because I wrote this for a younger version of myself, maybe 5 to 10 years ago. And if I read something like this, then it would have saved me a lot of mental headspace that I could have dedicated to other things. And it would have really helped to alleviate some of the worries that I had in terms of what it means to pursue something practical when it comes to any creative endeavor. So I think it'll be well worth your time. Feel free to go and check it out. And this video is not going to be me about delving into the piece itself, because really the post itself is a 6,500 word, 35-ish illustration piece that is very nuanced, very detailed, in depth, and written in a way where I think is hopefully engaging. So I'm not going to go into all the nuances of that because the post itself will do just that. I'm more so going to briefly just talk about why I wrote this piece and what void I was trying to fill by writing this and publishing it. Because inherent in any creative endeavor, whether you realize it or not, is that you're trying to fill a small or large void that you see in the general creative landscape. And that was certainly the case for me here. There was some sort of void I wanted to fill, or some sort of problem I wanted to tackle. And the big problem that I wanted to tackle, or the initial foray into what got me writing this piece back in January, was the common advice that I would hear from creators about the importance of consistency and to just keep going. To just keep going, and eventually your fruits of your labor will pay off. The compounding nature of your labor and your effort will kick into effect. Flywheel effect forms, and boom, you're good to go. And there is truth to this form of advice and this species of advice. And it's also something I've said as well and really think it's useful. But like anything, it's nuanced. It's very nuanced. And I wanted to delve into the nuances of that, because I'm someone that has taken 2 leaps of this nature when it comes to jumping into something full time. So the first thing that I did was I went into doing music full time. So for those of you that don't know, I was actually a professional musician, a beat maker. I went under the name Trebles and Blues. You could check out my music. It's on Spotify. Maybe I'll link to it here. But I was doing that full time. And then more recently, I took a leap to do More to That. So More to That is my career. And with that said, I felt like the way I approached those leaps and the way that I've really viewed my path as a creative, as a creator, is what I would use in this. So the term I use in the post is as a practical creator. So someone that tried to balance the passionate nature of creativity and the self-actualizing nature of it, but also to balance that with the practical needs that I have as well, financially and all that good stuff. So when I was taking these leaps, they felt more like logical hops than they did these large jumps. And it's because each step of the way, I was really trying to understand that I can't just go head first into this thing without any sort of plan, without anything really lined up, or something that I have created for myself that would act as a safety net against failure. And this is something that I mentioned in the post, is that it's sexy to attribute your success as a creator to patience and consistency. Rah! But it's not as sexy to attribute this stuff to the fact that you had a financial safety net that could catch you against failure and catastrophe, right? But it's so important to do that. And that's what a practical creator understands. So I wanted to really touch on that nature and delve into that more and to understand what it means to have a sense of practicality as you are exercising your form of creative expression. And in the piece, I represent this relationship as two axes on a graph, with practicality on the y-axis and creativity on the x-axis, and how as you move forward on this, the path you take doesn't take the path of this kind of straight 45-degree angle up line. It's more of an arc where you're trading in practicality for creativity. There's this intricate balance that's happening. Now, once again, I'm not going to get into the details of the piece because you could just read it and check it out. But the whole reason why I wanted to delve into this in the first place was because I wanted to communicate to people that, one, are starting out, that, hey, when you're starting out, there's no easy way to put this, but you have to prioritize wealth generation and making money. And if your creative endeavor is not providing you with that, then you have to find that in the form of a job or something that is using some of your past experiences that you can either earn a salary or monetize accordingly. And even if it may not be the thing that you really want to do, like you don't want to spend 8 hours a day working on that job, but what it does is that it enables you to have that 1 to 2 to 3 hours each night where you come back and you get to work on your creative endeavor without the burden of money anxieties on your mind. And that's huge. It's absolutely huge. And it also gives you the ability to work on your stuff during the weekends as well. So you have this notion of your financial needs taken care of. Now, it comes at the cost of it taking up your time and attention, but it affords you that minority, that sliver of time in each workday where you can dedicate to your creative endeavor. And it's this trade-off that you have between practicality and creativity that allows you to build this safety net that you may one day want to trade in for what I call freedom in attention, that you can fully dedicate to your creative endeavor. But you have to build that up. You have to have your work or your job, that job that you may not like as much, act as like a patron of your art. So this is another concept I go into the piece. And as you progress through your journey, right, you're going to, like if you have a nice financial safety net and so forth, and then you could start to think about, all right, I'm going to take the leap. But at that point, the leap won't really feel like a leap. It'll feel like more like a hop. And at this point, there's already maybe a little bit of momentum going on with your creative work. And when you go into that phase, then it's about what I call enduring the great plateau, where yes, you're dedicating more of your time to your creative endeavor, but the results may not line up with how much effort you're putting in. And this is where it's really tough for many creators to kind of endure and go through. But you push along far enough, and then it gets to the point where the creativity, the practicality element begin to click, and you can actually make money doing what you're doing. And then this is where we get into what I call navigating the creative career. And even in this phase, there is a lot of balancing that you have to do, because you may be making money as a creator, but you also have to understand, okay, what do I do with this? And how do I understand that this creative endeavor is not baked into every single part of my identity, right? Because around this last phase, you can start to develop arrogance, and you may confuse confidence for that. So I go into a lot of these things in the piece, and how each section of this journey, whether you're in the beginning, middle, and the last stage, it's all defined by challenge. And there is really no easier or harder. There's always a different texture of challenge that exists in each one. And there's also a different texture of patience you have to embody with each phase of the arc. And the texture of patience you have to embody really defines how practical your endeavor can be at every phase. So by understanding which one you have to embody based upon which stage you're at, then you can cultivate that resilience and the balance that's required to push forward and to continue along this challenge. And the whole purpose of a creative endeavor is for it to be challenging, right? That's what it is. Because with creativity, it's oftentimes the scope of the problem you're trying to solve often feels bigger than your capacity to solve it. And that's really what the creative endeavor is all about. And that's what makes it so exciting. And I think this is exactly why it's so important for us to exercise the fruits of our creativity out in the world, because it's only through doing that where you get to understand what it means to inject a healthy dose of ambition, and to understand what it means to also balance that ambition with stuff that you feel like is helping the world. And I think that this continuous push and pull dynamic of everything that we do, everything that we create and make and put out into the world, is what makes this such an incredibly beautiful and challenging and difficult endeavor at the same time. So all of these thoughts here, and drawing upon all my personal experience and all the things that I have really reflected upon when it comes to the tension between practicality and creativity, making money, navigating a career here, all that is embedded in the piece. So I really wanted to write this as an artifact of sorts that could help anyone along their creative journey at any point. And this is also the piece that I would give to my daughter if she ever came to me and was like, hey, I want to go into a creative field. I'd be like, here, 6,500 words, boom. Or I'll just talk to you about it. Maybe she won't have the patience to sit and hear me just blabber on with this. But at the same time, it just feels like it's something I wanted to make into a concrete format that I can give to anybody. And I hope that this piece provides some of that for you as well, and provides some clarity. And whether you are a creator or not, if there is anything that you want to devote more of your energy into that may not be aligned with how you're spending 8 to 9 hours of your day doing, then this is also for you. So, all right. I hope that this gave you a little bit more insight into why I wrote this piece and what it's for. And I really hope you enjoy it. So if you want to hear more, you could subscribe to the newsletter, subscribe to this channel, whatever, and you'll hear from me soon. All right. Okay. Bye-bye.